Question 2. We're going to use the calculator a lot here in this question. So it says the rate at which people enter an amusement park on a given day is modeled by the function e, defined by e of t as this rational function. As you notice, I put a y1 there. I'm going to immediately enter that into my calculator as y1. The rate at which people leave the same amusement park on the same day is modeled by the function L, defined by L of t. And I'm going to label that in my calculator as y2. Both E of t and L of t are measured in people per hour, and time t is measured in hours after midnight. These functions are valid for 9 to 23, the hours during which the park is open. At time equal to 9, there are no people in the park. Part A is asking how many people have entered the park by 5 p.m., which is a t-value of 17, round to the nearest whole number. So if we're talking about entering the park, we are going to work with E of t, which is entering. So E of t is a rate. If I integrate a rate, I will get the total number of people. So I'm going to do the integral from 9 to 17. The park doesn't open until time of 9. And 17 is when 5 p.m. is, of E of t dt. I'm going to do that on my calculator. Don't forget that you can press alpha trace to pull up the y1 equation that you have in there instead of having to retype it every time. And when I do this, I get rounded to the nearest whole number, 6,004 people. The price of admission to the park is $15 until 5 p.m. After 5 p.m., the price of admission to the park is $11. How many dollars are collected from admissions to the park on the given day? So we're looking at the number of people times the cost per person. So if we look at part A, that is how many people were present entering the park before 5 p.m. So I'm going to take the integral we had from part A, 9 to 17 e of t dt. I'm going to multiply that by $15. To that, I'm going to add $11 for everybody entering from 17 to the end of the day, which is 23, e of t dt. And when I do that on my calculator, I get 104,048, $0.48. That's to the nearest whole number. Let h of t equal the integral from 9 to t of e of x minus L of x dx from 9 to 23. The value of h of 17 to the nearest whole number is 3,725. Find the value of h prime of 17 and explain the meaning of h of 17 and h prime of 17. So I'm going to start with h prime. I'm sorry, not h prime. I'm going to start with h of 17. H of 17 is 3,725. So if I look at H is talking about accumulating, that's this integral, how many people have entered and taking away how many people have exited. And we're starting at 9, which is the time that the park starts. So at 17, this would be at 5 p.m., which is the t-value of 17. There are 3,725 people present in the park. So a lot more people have entered, but since people have left, this is how many people are present currently in the park. Okay, h prime of x then. If I want to take the derivative of h of x, it is simply going to be e of t minus L of t. So if I want h prime of 17, using my calculator, using the table function, I can find this value. I can find e of t, e of 17 minus L of 17, and I get h prime of 17 to be negative 380.281. Now what this is referring to, this is the rate at which the number of people in the park is decreasing, because it's negative, when time equals 17 or 5 p.m. Part D is asking for what time between 9 and 23 does the model predict that the number of people in the park is a maximum? So we want to maximize h of t. That's telling us how many people are in the park at any given time. So to maximize that, we need to find the derivative. So we're going to work with the derivative of h of t and find its critical value. So I found this t equals 15.795 by graphing e of x or e of t minus L of t and finding it 0. So what we have then is h of t. If you think about this is 923.795. As you look at that, h of t is going to be, h prime is going to be positive here and it's going to be negative there, which means we're increasing to decreasing. So our maximum number of people will be at t equals 15.795. And if you wanted to find out what that actual maximum value would be, it would be 9 to 15 of e of x minus L of x dx. And we get for that value, I have it written down here, 3,951 people. Oops, sorry about that.